Here we are again. So I think this will be episode number 4. So we've got our canopy painted, and I will now be polishing, cutting, buffing. I have a couple runs I'm going to get out. So, what's up, dude? So here we are. So the top ended up actually being kind of rough. I mean, not horrible, but a little rough. We'll get it squared away, so it'll be beautiful. It did end up being a little tiger striped, a little more than I kind of wanted, but like I said, it's kind of hard to make a big deal about it because you're not going to see the top of it, and eventually I'm going to have a rack on it. So this pretty much, in my estimation, you can see right here, and it has some tiger stripes. So this is pretty much the consequence of using spray paint, using even the high quality spray paint. That's going to be the consequences. You're going to get those tiger stripes because you don't have enough paint being dispersed in a big enough area. So in little areas like this, it did fine because I could get a nice thick layer here and then layer up and you know, with that nice thick layer. So all along the side, it worked beautifully and it looks gorgeous, like it was done at a professional auto shop. Now on the top, it's a lot harder and it would take a lot longer, and it's a lot harder to get that same coverage. So you end up with those tiger stripes. But like I said, I don't have the right the equipment to spray the way that was supposed to be. So bottom line, I'm completely okay with it. Like I said, it's going to have a rack up there. I'm not worried about it. And the sides, everywhere you're going to see, turned out absolutely gorgeous. So there's a little bit of waviness to it. I'll see if I can even try to... You can see the little teeny tiny imperfections, but we can straighten all that out with a little bit of wet sanding and buffing. There's a little drip in here somewhere. Where is that at? Gosh, they kind of like disappeared. Oh, there's one right here. I don't know if you can see that. There's a drip right there. And then I got pretty carried away over here, I think, because I got a couple drips over here. Where are they? There's one here. It's actually, see, that clear coat was so high quality that even when I got a couple runs, they almost disappeared. They almost leveled themselves out. So they'll be real easy to fix. But I'm telling you, I've used a lot of different clears before. The Walmart brand, I've used their other brand that they sell that's a little cheaper than this, and oh my gosh, this stuff is incredible. It's super easy to spray. The other stuff, if you didn't spray it just right, it wouldn't come out just right. This stuff, as long as you put it on pretty wet after a couple coats, you almost can't get it wrong, and it comes out so shiny. I could honestly just take it and put it on my truck, and no one would ever even second guess it, but I know I would because of those little things. So I'm going to get it to a showroom quality shine, but either way, so I'm going to stop jabbering and we are going to start wet sanding. Okay, so we're going to start doing the wet sanding here. So what I use when I'm wet sanding that I found works very well, and I've done it a number of times, is get a little spray bottle. It doesn't have to be like this, but any spray bottle. You spray some water, something you can spray some water with. I start out with 1500 grit sandpaper, and then I go up to 2500, and then finish up with 3000, and then buff it. So you want to make sure that the surface is wet and the paper is wet. And all right, so I'm not real happy how my phone is. Every time I press record, it zooms in super close, which I want to be zoomed to some degree so you can see, but it's like, it seems like it's zoomed, but you can't really see, what's going on around it. So I'll do the best I can with what I have here. So first of all, there's 2 spots over here that I'm going to work on. I'm going to do a little of everything. I'm going to go over everything, but I'm going to focus on this right here is a little spot, a little drip, and also right here. So all this is, I mean, smooth as all get out, but if you run your hand through here, there's every now and then there's a little imperfection, like so small you can barely feel it with your finger. but it's something that's so easy to get out. So you don't need to be afraid to run, the sandpaper over it to some degree. Obviously, you don't want to do it too much, and you want to concentrate on the high areas. Now, when it comes to like 2,000 or whatever, then you can do even more, but it'll help get a lot of this orange peeling out, whatever's there. Just another thing too is I don't know, a lot of people don't realize that some orange peeling, it's like that from the factory. If you get something straight from the factory, it has a little bit of orange peel. So, some people choose to leave a little orange peel in there just so it'll match the factory paint job, or you can have it just perfectly smooth. It's not that hard to do, especially if you have a thing. So here we go. I'm going to spray my stuff on there. So this is just plain water. I've also used like Dawn laundry soap or dishwashing detergent, or just dishwashing soap, like Dawn liquid soap, or I've even tried using the Johnson & Johnson baby soap. It helps a little bit with lubrication. I think it does help a little bit, but I'm kind of weary if it's good for the paint or not. So I just do water. I think that's what I'm going to stick to this time. I think I did that soap most of the time in my last job, and it turned out just fine. But so bottom line here is you don't want to give it a lot of pressure. You just want to let it glide over. So as you're gliding back and forth, you will feel like a drag. I mean, I'm just barely touching this to the point where just enough to where it stays in my hand, and I'm not putting any pressure on it. I'm just kind of let it run across the surface of the paint, and you'll feel the drag on the stuff that is working on it. And as soon as it's gone, you'll just feel the drag go away. So it's very light pressure. You want to go slow, watch what you're doing, make sure you're not going too much. I wouldn't recommend, some people use like 1,000 grit to start. I wouldn't recommend it personally. I would play it safe and start out with the 1,500 at the smallest. If you've never done this before, you might even play it safe and start with the 2,000. I don't know. The other thing is it does not take much. So if you're not sure, you can do it a little bit, feel it, see how smooth it is, do it a little bit more. Now don't get worried, don't get freaked out if you're doing this and you're seeing the shine go away and you're seeing it dull up. It will do that. Especially with this 1,500 grit, it's definitely gonna dull. But it's supposed to. That's okay. That's why we go to the higher grit, the 2,000, and the 2,500, 3,000, and then we go up to a buffing compound because we bring that shine right back. So as I'm doing this, I'm realizing that there's even more like of orange peel on here than I even realized, because I'm doing this section and where this spot is like so smooth now, and then I go over here and I feel the bumps. It's kind of amazing how you can feel what you're doing, like a lot. So you're not going to want to overdo it. Once you think you're good, then you probably are. Feel it. If it feels good, then move on. Okay, so I got through the first 1,500 job, And at this point, I got it what it felt pretty good. And then I just wiped it off with the clean rag. Now as it dries up, you'll be able to see a lot better what you got and what you missed. See, if you look on there, it still needs some on the top. It's still pretty orange peely. Like I said, I'm not going to get real carried away. And I do want to leave some orange peel, but you can see where it's at. But to feel that, it feels so smooth. I mean, like just the ever so slight orange peel, which is probably perfect as far as matching it to your paint. So especially with that 1500, it really doesn't take much. I might hit it a couple areas here and there just to get it back perfect, and then we'll be working on 2000 or 2500 and then work up to 3000. Alright, I just touched up a little bit more. So you want to wipe it off real good and then let it dry. Because what's going to happen is when you let it dry, like I talked about before, it's going to dry out to a milky looking surface, but you'll be able to see every place that you missed. So when I was over here, I was able to see where I missed that drip, and actually, see? I missed it again. I still need to hit it again. So I'm going to hit that again, get it perfect, and then we will be on to 2000. I've done this a number of times, and I've tried it a number of ways. Ideally for this, I have this foam on here. What I like better than this is like a fleece bonnet, or even like a sheepskin bonnet. Does a very good job, but unfortunately I forgot to buy one, and all mine are used up, and I don't want to risk messing this up. So this will work. I don't know. We'll see how good, if it does as good as the other ones, but I know it'll do the job. This was a Harbor Freight polisher buffer. Now I'm a Harbor Freight fan for sure, but only when it comes to certain things. And when it comes to these, usually I've bought these type of power tools, like a grinder or whatever, because it's cheap and whatever, and I don't expect much of it. It doesn't do great, they don't last long, but they get the job done, and for super cheap. Now this one was $50, which is way cheaper than the other ones, and I gotta say, this is the most impressed I've ever been with a Harbor Freight power tool. This thing is, I cannot imagine another higher brand being much better than this in terms of the way it works, in terms of the quality, the way it feels. I'm pretty excited. I like this thing a lot. Not that I'm selling anything, but I like it. So I've also tried using cheaper, like the little $8 cutting compound, whatever, Mother's, Meguiar's, whatever stuff. This is Meguiar's, but this is like the professional ultra cut compound. This bottle right here is like $25 at Walmart, which is a lot, but it lasts a long time, and this stuff is amazing. So it starts out at like a more coarse grit, and as it works itself in, it gradually works down to a finer grit. So it actually starts out like doing what it's supposed to do, and then it fines out and smooths and buffs. So it's almost like you'd have to use two other products to get this product, what this product does. It almost like, it starts out gritty, and then it fines out and just polishes amazing. This stuff is the most amazing stuff I've ever used. It's crazy. So I'm going to go ahead and start right here, and we'll just go at it. I should probably shake it up a little bit because I haven't used it in a long time. Put a little bit on there. I like getting this a little wet. I just kind of smear it around there because otherwise it'll splatter all over the place. Same thing here, you can just kind of smear it in or whatever. I hope this is coming through in the video as well as it is in real life, but oh my gosh. It was shiny right after we first sprayed it, but this is like, it takes on a whole nother like realm of, oh my gosh, just shiny. That came out so good. The top, you can still see the tiger marks in the top. That'll never go away, and in the sun it'll be much worse. So like I said, if you got good equipment, do it right. Or just put a rack on it like I'm going to put on mine. But if you look at the finish, as bad as it was at one point, it looks beautiful now. It's got a minor orange peel, which doesn't bother me at all, but all the sides and anything you're going to see up close is just gorgeous. So I hope you saw how I did that. I hope you got a kind of an idea. I hope this is kind of giving you an idea how to do a paint on your own. Learn from some of my mistakes, and to get an idea of, you know, sometimes you can do things yourself. You don't always have to pay someone else to do them. You may not get the perfect results, but if you're like me, I love doing it myself. It's fun, it's enjoyable, and I'm going to save a lot of money by the time I'm done. This paint job from beginning to end cost me about $200. So, and that's high quality, good stuff. Now, some would argue, oh, you paid $200. You could have paid a body shop $300 or $400 to do it, and you wouldn't have the tiger stripes on the top. You know, to each their own. But bottom line is, I have what I consider to be a beautiful paint job, and everywhere that matters looks professional, looks awesome. And so I could not be happier. So the next video we will have glass. Hopefully have glass coming in later this week. And we'll put the glass all assembly back together and put it in and put it on the truck. Got to get some clamps. I got to buy those clamps. I want to get this thing on the truck by this weekend. I'm thinking. Today's Tuesday. I'm going to try to have this bad boy on here by this weekend. So, until next time, thanks for watching.